What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the Irod Kaimana series. The whole series was designed for inshore and offshore, but they're not really just stuck with that. You can do a lot more with them. The first rod in the series is the 733. I think this is James Collins' rod. It's a pretty cool rod. I've used it in lakes, thrown around like half-ounce ball heads. On the bottom, makes a good jerkbait rod. It's got a soft enough tip to be able to work, smaller treble hook baits, but it has enough backbone to keep them pinned. It's a rod I'd recommend to somebody who's trying to throw smaller stuff, smaller conventional type of things, rather than just sticking with salt. You can definitely do stuff in freshwater with it. The next rod in the series is the 764. This rod to me is super versatile. I've done pretty much, it's my go-to rod in terms of throwing conventional baits, like whether it be a vibrating jig, spinnerbait. There's just a lot you can do with it. It's a rod that I have a couple of, that way I can always have something tied on the deck of the boat. Like I said, it's just versatile. You can do a lot with it. A lot of things in terms of conventional baits, whether that's, smaller swim baits, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I just got both of those, the 764 and the 733. So the 733 probably, it feels like a good square bill rod to me. Like I said, I just got these, but I've thrown enough rods to know. So I'm pretty excited about the 733, and the 764 is going to be like my flipping stick. I still flip a lot of jigs, still flip a lot of my plastics. And even on that rod, like Danny said, throwing spinner baits or buzz baits, like braid rod, they have good tapers. So, and they're all balanced. The whole series with the Kaimana is balanced. It looks great with the metal accents and the black and the red. So, but with those smaller rods, Danny definitely has more experience than me on those.
Yeah, they're definitely. I definitely recommend them in terms of being able to throw your smaller stuff. Next rod in the series is the 794, the Pose Mag Stick. That's the one you see us talking about a lot. That rod is super versatile. I throw a lot of different things on it. I know you've heard Poe and T and everybody else talk about things they've thrown on, but I throw it on small to medium hard baits, whether that's a glide or a crank down, whatever it might be. Throw smaller weedless baits with it, A-rigs. It's really a very, very versatile rod. It's got enough tip to keep treble hook baits pinned and enough backbone to really drive the hooks and keep them on. That's my favorite rod in the lineup. I got 5 or 6 of them now.
I have 5 of them too. Yeah, it's because the handle's longer. It's like almost a 13-inch handle from the back of the wheel seat on a 7.9 rod. So even though it's a heavier duty plank, you still have plenty of leverage and balance on that, which helps with the small movement. And since I only throw my baits usually, wake and crank, snapper, it's perfect rod for those. I throw like up to a 3-ounce glide maybe on it. I throw a lot of my glides now on braid to fluoro, so that kind of lets me throw maybe a little larger than bait than some people would, because I like it soft. But the hard baits, like Danny said, in the glides, it's killer. And then I throw this on. I throw the Wade frogs a lot. So it's on this BKK hook. This new hook is kind of cool. But we have I did a lot of work with it, and it fishes it so good. It's like, you have to let them eat it a little bit with the soft stuff. So even though it's rated at 2 ounces and this is bigger, it fishes heavy. It fishes heavy duty stuff. Like you throw this on a 10-aught hook, this JSJ, Pack Rat, anything weedless like that you're gonna need to drive the hook home. It definitely will do the job. On top of the fact that the taper is great for hard baits. They really knocked it out of the park with that, in my opinion. I tried to throw this stuff. You guys, I had so many of them this year, and I really liked it. I tried to throw stuff on it like this because I like heavier rods, but even a jig, it's a little much. Like even a frog, it's a good frog stick. I like the longer handle, but it still doesn't have a lot of tip. Like I feel like I feel like it works for me, but probably most wouldn't like it for a frog. You know, in their own case or whatever. But in the lineup, that's got to be the most versatile stick. Like Kenny said, I do punch with it because I like the handle. But remember that it has the longer handle, and if that bothers you flipping and such, you might want to lean away from it. Even though it just takes a little bit of, you know, getting used to. But yeah, that's definitely the workhorse of the whole lineup. It does mono, fluoro, and braid, I think, equally well, and I use on that. I don't know the other ones. They all have components for the salt, so they can take a leader, braid to leader, you know, so they don't have the micro guides or tip. I haven't used the lighter ones, but I know the 794, I use a ton with that, the braid to leader, and it casts very well. It casts very well with braid. It casts very well with co-poly. So I don't use straight fluoro, so I can't even comment on that. And then after that, I believe it moves into the swimbait stuff, right? The 8-foot.
Yeah, the 80 series.
Yeah, so there's 804 moderate, 804 moderate fast or medium fast, I think, and then they have the 805, and they're all rated 2 to 6. I haven't used the middle one. You know, I throw the big baits a lot, the bigger stuff, and the 804 moderate is very moderate. If you like a parabolic rod, I think that's definitely the one you want to lean on. And it will throw up to 6 ounces. On braid, for stripers, I throw 250s, straight 80 pound, and it really loaded up well. I'm sure it would do fine for bass too, but most guys with, you know, throw 250s different than I do on the Delta, so I don't want to go in there. But if you like parabolic rod, I like mine a little stiffer than that. I use it great with the Wade Hogs, the middle of its lineup, like its weight rating. I mean, I still use it. It's just, you know, it's very parabolic. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. So, like I said, I want to use the 804 medium heavy or whatever it is, the one that's not moderate, but I haven't got my hands on one. It'd probably be a little more in my wheelhouse than the 804 mod. I plan on trying it out. You know, these 8-footers also have the big foregrip. You got to remember that these are all inshore rods. The rods to the left, give me one of those suckers. You can see that these are the more conventional sizes, so they have this aluminum chuck and this split grip. Which, I mean, I like the thinner grips. I don't like big fat grips on the rods. And then when you move into the 80 series, it's going to have a foregrip, which I like. I mean, but maybe because I've been doing it a long time and so the rods used to be, but it doesn't make it uncomfortable. The handles aren't overly long. They're 13 inches, I believe, too, and maybe 13 and a half. So if you like a real long handle on your heavier rods, they're not there, but they are balanced. You know, in the 804. Now, when I moved up to the 805, it says it's rated 1 to 6, but that thing will cast, I don't even know how high I will cast. I know I've casted 10 ounces with it. I hung a 12-ounce glide from the tip because this is after I hurt my shoulder, so I haven't been fishing, but I hung it and it's like barely flexed it. Like, that thing is a freaking foam pole in a good way. I caught one, you know, I don't weigh my fish, but it was a 24-inch fish in November, like 8 to 9 pounds probably, and that was on 80-pound braid to 30-pound fluoro. It handled it like nothing. You know, I was casting my 6-ounce bait. You know, I throw my 6-ounce chooch around like, you know, I don't even know, like a spinnerbait. It definitely is not loaded. And I heard that Matt Newman kills tuna with it. Zealand told me that that's his rock cod rod or his lean cod rod. So it's got all the horsepower, bigger components, but I mean, I'm going to use that for everything from my heavier duty depths 250 stuff for stripers to my big wakes to my I was using it for my 9-inch battles shad, and you know, it's just an all around great rod. The whole lineup is crazy. Like, you know, for the price range, I really feel like that's why we're doing this review, right? Because I mean, it's such a good thing, and like, you know, I've tried all kinds of rods. There's plenty of good rods, And I know Irod has a lot of other stuff, and Danny has some of that stuff, but we both have experience specifically with the Kaimana series, and it's like a standout, for me, especially since I throw my baits and I can recommend stuff, to people. If you throw stuff like the wake and crank, the snapper, or Danny has the castle ball glide over there, the wade frog weedless baits. If you're my customer, I would definitely recommend the 794 for my lighter stuff. The slob stopper is something we don't even talk about because it's not summer, but the slob stopper is a great choice to throw on the 794. So it's nice to have a rod that I can recommend to people I feel like is going to be quality. All the components are balanced and nice. They look good. They're under $200. I think they're like 199 or 189.
Yeah.
And if you look at Fish All, like my hat right here, he has them in stock usually. Irod's pretty easy to get a hold of as far as it's ever been for me. They're very accessible. I don't know if they're gonna be in stock because it's a popular rod, even though it's targeted just for us West Coast guys, or the West Coast inshore saltwater guys for calico. We're telling you, it's easy for guys from the Delta to go down there and fish that same type of stuff, and it excels at what we do. So if you, in my opinion, if you do the stuff that we do, especially if you fish around weeds and stuff, and you throw the smaller swim baits, tournament guys especially, I mean, this is like literally the stuff that translates right into tournaments. And you have a light, strong stick that can do multiple things. So you could, I have 5 of them because I can have a snapper, a wake and crank, because I do. When it comes to me, I'm fishing my own stuff a lot, so I know not everybody does that, but you could have multiple baits rigged up along with my wade frogs, and when I'm switching back and forth, I'm using the same setup. It does everything. So, if you're able to snatch them up, hopefully they're in stock when you're looking. Definitely look at whatever rod in the series, but the 794 is my all-star of the lineup. And if you want a big rod, you can't go wrong with that 805. That 805 8-foot. It's you can cast a Honda Civic with that thing, So.
Yeah, and like going back to what Caesar said, it's the whole series is very solid. That 794 obviously just stands out. Light years ahead of everything else just because of how versatile it is. And it seems like, as far as production rods, whether, whoever makes them, you really have some rods that are really good, and very rarely do you have a rod that's really great. That 794 just stands out that much further than everything else. I know we've kind of pounded the table about it for a while now. We got the chance to fish him early last year. Started in the salt, and as soon as you fish him the first time, you start to realize all the different things that you could throw with it. And it's just, going back to the word versatility, it is the ultimate versatile rod. You can just do so many things with it. And I think that having that option really eliminates the issues with having too many different rods on the boat. You can really have one rod and multiple of one rod as opposed to many different rods. That rod just accomplishes so much in that regard. So.
Yep, I agree. Thanks for stopping in, checking us out. We're gonna try to get some more stuff up here like this, where we both have experience with the same product. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. So.
Right on.